you. Of course, we totally understand you. At Consulting XYZ, we have the absolute best, because why settle for anything less than our unparalleled, earth-shattering, mind-blowing expertise? We would never, and I mean never, bullshit you.
All right, this one is a bit more personal from my very own experience working with countless of these so-called consulting companies in all form and sizes. IT projects are the backbone of modern businesses. They power operations, drive innovation, and enable companies to stay competitive in an increasingly digital world. But what happens when these projects go off the rails? Today, we're uncovering a hidden but widespread issue that's costing companies millions of dollars and damaging their potential. I call it the pseudo-smart consultant problem. This is a phenomenon that's especially prevalent in IT projects such as ERP system rollouts, where companies often find themselves paying premium rates for subpar results. Let's break it down. When large consulting firms pitch their services, they promise expertise, efficiency, and guaranteed success. Their presentations are polished, their credentials impressive, and their sales teams persuasive. But what happens behind the scenes often tells a very different story. Many of these firms staff their projects with junior consultants, individuals with little to no real-world experience. Instead of receiving top-tier expertise, companies unknowingly become the training ground for these consultants. This leads to a cascade of problems. The code these juniors write is often riddled with inefficiencies. Customizations are weak and fail to address the specific needs of the business. And ultimately, the systems implemented don't deliver the value they were meant to provide. Instead of empowering the business, they create new headaches, leaving companies to clean up the mess. So how does this happen? Why are companies paying premium rates for such low-quality work? The problem lies in how many consulting firms operate. These firms outsource a significant amount of IT work to offshore teams, and while there's no shortage of brilliant talent in these teams, they're often overstretched. To maximize profits, consulting firms assign inexperienced juniors to critical roles, betting on the fact that they'll be able to figure things out on the job. For the consulting firm, it's a win-win. The customer pays premium rates, the junior staff gets free training, and the firm builds its reputation based on the brand, not the quality of individual projects. For the juniors involved, it's not even a secret. Many of them are open about their lack of expertise. On a personal level, they're often eager to learn and even grateful for the guidance they receive from the client's internal experts. But from the company's perspective, this dynamic is deeply problematic. Instead of receiving the expertise they paid for, they're forced to invest their own resources in training the consultants, often at the expense of their project timelines and budgets. By the time management realizes what's happening, it's often too late. The project is too far along and too much money and effort have already been invested to cancel it outright. This creates a classic case of being locked in. Companies feel compelled to continue spending to justify what they've already spent. But that's not the worst of it. This dynamic also puts internal staff in a difficult position. Should they let the consultants hit the wall, allowing the project to fail spectacularly? Or should they step in to save the project, knowing they're essentially covering for the consultant's shortcomings? This decision often depends on the individual. Employees nearing retirement may opt to step back, feeling they've done their part. On the other hand, newer, more ambitious employees with long-term career plans often step in, determined to protect their company's interests even if it means extra work for them. The root cause of this problem, however, lies higher up in the organization. It's a failure of top management. Many executives lack the technical expertise to evaluate consultants effectively. Instead of relying on their own subject matter experts, people who know the systems and understand the challenges, they trust external partners who promise everything but often deliver far less. This misplaced trust leads to poor decision-making and ultimately to the messes we see in these projects. So how can companies protect themselves? There are two critical solutions. First, they need to own their mistakes. When a project is clearly going nowhere, it's better to admit failure than to keep pouring resources into it. Transparency is key. Acknowledge what went wrong, communicate openly with stakeholders, and use the experience as an opportunity to learn and grow. This may be painful in the short term, but it's far better than the long-term damage of a failed system or a tarnished reputation. Second, companies need to focus on prevention. The real solution lies in better diligence before the project even starts. This means defining clear and detailed project goals and deliverables, ensuring that everyone involved knows what success looks like. Avoid time and material contracts which incentivize inefficiency and instead opt for milestone-based payments tied to specific measurable outcomes. Finally, involve internal experts or trusted third-party auditors to review progress at key milestones. These reviews are crucial for identifying and addressing issues early before they spiral out of control. The pseudo-smart consultant problem isn't going away anytime soon. It's deeply entrenched in how many consulting firms operate, but businesses don't have to be victims. With the right approach, they can protect themselves from these pitfalls. Transparency, diligence, and a renewed trust in internal expertise can turn IT projects back into what they're meant to be, enablers of growth and innovation, not costly mistakes. So, is your company prepared to navigate these challenges? Have you seen similar problems in your organization? Feel free to share your thoughts on this and how companies can do better. Don't forget to subscribe for more similar stories and takeaways.